Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to call the special BoC 422-26 meeting to order. Mission vision. Real quick, I have a number one. The TPMPD mission statement to provide a welcoming public aquatics facility managed in a fiscally responsible manner with a focus on educating all ages and lifelong skills of water safety. We carry out this mission with a board and staff who are compassionate, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of our diverse community, working to foster positive and lifelong experiences with aquatic environments. Vision statement, contributing to the quality of life for our community, for future generations through welcoming, fun, safe, and positive aquatic experiences at the Tukwila Pool. Okay, pledge of allegiance.
Of the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Looking at the first big motion of the evening.
And she's definitely a motion to approve the agenda, or to excuse, no, she says, right, to approve the agenda.
Oh, I second.
Ellen, Commissioner King, second. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't even do roll call yet. Roll call.
Ellen Gangler here.
No, Commissioner Butler here.
Commissioner West here.
Commissioner Shipman here.
Commissioner
Commissioner Jerry Mandela Anderson is here via telephone. And then we also have our ED Bradley Harpin and our aquatics director Anastasia.
And
joined by
Brandy Fox is.
and Brandy Fox
Hey, Brandy.
for our representative Angel. Okay. Now, is there any discussion about the agenda before we vote on approving the motion on the table for the agenda? Hello?
Let's proceed.
All right. So not any further discussion. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented this evening, say aye.
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 We'll just say the four people who voted.
Okay, business item number one is the only business item, geotech proposal for site number one, seeking approval.
Commissioner Zappa makes a motion to approve geotech proposal for site number one.
I think Jerry Mandela.
Second,
Would you like to second it? I'm not sure.
it's not voting for it, it's just making it so we can have the discussion.
Yes, I second.
So Debbie, second for that one.
Your work permitted.
Okay. All right, so
You're here.
discussion on the motion on the table for approving the monies for the geotech proposal for site number one. Do we want to have open discussion on this, or do we want to go into executive session for this? Because it looks like we have an option for it, so I'm just asking.
Executive session.
If we're talking about anything, I don't know about.
Yeah, it's just about the geotech proposal, so.
And just use
Yeah.
the term site one.
Yeah.
Well, it's already clear what the right.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to talk about, we couldn't talk about other stuff.
So no executive session is what I'm hearing.
What's that?
There wouldn't be one because there's a motion on the table. We can't go into executive session. Have a motion
We
in
can
it.
close the motion
Yeah.
if we want to. I'm just asking
Yeah.
as a discussion, do we want to have regular discussion here, or do we want to? Put that motion.
I don't
I don't think
need to go into executive session.
Do you want to talk about this, or Brad, as far as what we're looking at for? I think we talked about a little bit the other day.
Yeah, we talked pretty much. I believe we've already talked through it pretty extensively. And before you is the proposal for geotech for site number 1, which is the Tupelo Community Center location to continue exploration of that site. The costs sitting on that proposal are roughly $37,000 for the work. That includes geotech and archaeology, or an archaeologist on site to monitor and report any potential findings should there be a finding. So tonight we're asking for BoC's approval on geotech. Should this get approved tonight, geotech would start the last week of April.
Just next week.
Yeah, which would be a day and a half worth of work, and then a small waiting period for final report. But it doesn't mean we wouldn't begin to get preliminary information earlier based on findings.
Nor does it mean we're stopping to continue to get information about any other reason.
Correct.
And the downside is if we put it off till we get a little more information on the other, we said it would be late in summer before we could schedule that, right?
Yeah, I can confirm that. If we delay geotech to get it scheduled later, is going to push you through the summer months for a report, maybe July, August. And I believe the goal would be to continue to vet all sites simultaneously.
It just seemed to me, I was kind of hit by so much that could be wrong. I mean, I was thinking about the water and all of that. I wasn't thinking about bringing in an Indian tribe and going through our stuff and all of that. And all of that kind of blew my mind.
Seems like a lot.
You know, and so to me, it kind of went from sounding like a really good place to where I really personally, I just kind of, and I can be talked out of it, but I kind of feel like what if whatever the home developer was, Shiner, what if they have who have already done this geotech, you know, what if they came back excited and think how that would add value to the whole neighborhood, and then we'll have spent this money and I mean, I understand we're kind of making a investment in the community because nobody else has to spend it,
I
but
think that's a great feedback. I think the way I look at it is if we want to wait to see what doors open, we could be waiting a month, 2, 3, 6, 12 months. I think the goal is to simultaneously look at each of the 4 sites that we agreed to explore until 1 clearly drops off or 3 clearly drop off. And or we get to 2 where the board then is presented with choices to make a decision. And where if we agree these are the 2 sites, that's when we can really start pushing some aggressive community engagement to get final feedback before any final vote is taken on site and site location.
I would just like to say, just for the record, we can talk about the current site. We can talk about the community center, because that information is public. People know
sorry.
any other site is not public. Just FYI for everybody, because I don't know what could happen. I'm sure that nothing bad. It's not like they're going to behead us or anything, but
Like number 4.
yeah.
There you go.
Number
Perfect. Yeah.
Number 4.
But, you know, I agree, but I also, you know, I mean, and this is not my world. I mean, I don't make $40,000 decisions like on a daily basis. And it's a lot of money in my world. However, because of the timeline, putting it off is going to cost more. And because we don't know enough, certainly they had different regulations when they built the community center, and you know, that was different. So I would be in favor of moving forward just to get this information. And then after this information comes through, then there needs, you know, then we need to see what comes out. And that's when I think that if it's like, oh no, now we have to do the $100,000 geotech, then I think that's that's over the flight of this.
That's a piece of another puzzle, right?
Yeah, so at this point,
If we choose.
because we also haven't had any, I mean, if we had had a lot of movement on all the other 3 sites, like people were promptly answering letters of intent and lining up at our doors, blah, blah, blah. That would be exciting, but that's not where we're at, so.
Those like haven't been up for a week. Either,
Well,
so.
But
I mean,
there has been discussions with those parties
Right, and it has,
prior to that.
right.
So it's not like it
There
was
has been some sort of discussion that they are somewhat.
it was not cold.
So,
I mean, I'm just thinking about all those little Indians living down there by the water and doing their little cooking and cleaning and bathing right there, and now I don't feel very good about bothering their old
Ancestral
stuff.
lands, yeah.
I see the site in a whole different manner, and
And that's actually, so that's really interesting, because I actually spent some time researching the history of the site and everything afterwards. And it's a fascinating, our whole Tukwila is a fascinating area, the way that it was developed and the importance of the tribals throughout the entire area. Like I was explaining, like the one area way further north where the light rail is across the river, they found a bunch because that's where they did clean it over in that area, but then they didn't find anywhere else so we just don't know until we do some.
but like if they put in tennis courts there or pickleball courts or something, then you're letting the dead lie and rest.
So,
It just.
Yeah, to be fair, like
digging up a pool.
so as far as human remains, like that's one thing I did find out. Human remains typically were never put by river, but they like to put them and they were very protective of it. Now, not to say you couldn't find it, but that as far as a whole burial ground, it would not be something that was expected in this area from the research I did, because it was concerned to me too. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
No, I think at the end of the day, what you're sharing, absolutely. I think if the initial geotech report comes back, our fact finding mission right now is just to see if the site can support what level of construction and what level of ground improvements will be required before we even dig. And geotech's going to be able to help us identify that, which is going to put a dollar value to the site improvements that we'll take into consideration on the budget. I think when we get into the bigger geotech piece, if this is a selected site, then I think what you're sharing, there's going to be more involvement than just us wanting to do geotech, and that's where I think that determination is going to come up. And I think that's where there needs to be 2 sites that are fully vettable to where, okay, we're vetting both. This one has those complexities, and either the tribe's getting involved or the community's getting involved, and we deem, hey, you know what, this site's too complicated. We're going to go ahead and pivot to site 2, and the board takes a vote, or we continue to pursue this site because we're learning it's not as bad as we thought. But I think when we get there, we should have those discussions, and will have those discussions with the appropriate stakeholders at the table, because I don't want to assume what is or what is not on, above, or within that area until the tribes have an opportunity to educate us as an organization on that specific corridor. Sorry, I'm going to call Jerry back since she probably moved an inch on the driveway. So I guess my message is the level of geotech we're doing is really just an easier and a less invasive fact-finding mission to see if this site is even viable from a financial standpoint.
and I would think that, I mean, even to find any sort of artifact between 3 holes would be.
Right.
Yeah, and the odds of that, I think, are really, really low. And if they did, then I think that would be lots about the site. If they, because like I said, just the chances of being so perfect in hitting a spot in 3 different locations is.
Well, that's why I think that we do this and we don't see anything, and then this all comes up
Right, because that's more of an
And that's
later.
So that's that conversation, but we can't have that conversation unless we even know whether this is even a site that would support a physical structure.
And something that I think that, I mean, that's important that we've mentioned before, is that, it's a lot of money, again, not my world, but, we do have the money. And if we can get, we can hope, one way or another, we're gonna know something, either that we need more information or that it's not gonna work out. But I think other things that we need to think about, even if this comes back with no problem and, groundwater and all that, everything looks great. The other thing that, doesn't mean that this is a perfect site either, because as we've all talked about, as I think Vanessa, you shared that, the city still constantly gets complaints about the community center being located where it is, but there's other issues besides just, that's not the only thing holding this particular property back from consideration in my.
No, you're absolutely right. There are pros and cons of every single site that we're gonna have to weigh. But we just need the information to be able to weigh it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what we're really trying to determine here, did the ground costs outweigh acquisition cost?
And I was all for it. I mean, I was like the biggest proponent of doing this. I was I'm like, well, let's just jump in and do it. And now to me, this is like kind of the site that I'm like, I'm just not, I'm not, to me, it's like 1, 2, 3, and it's way down here 4 on,
What about Jay?
Jerry, any feedback or thoughts as you're listening to the discussion?
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Because I lost you one time. Sorry, I'm trying not to move. I'm standing still. No, I mean, I can appreciate everybody's feedback on it, but again, we spent, like with Ellen, $40,000, not in my wheelhouse either, but I think that we need to do it to determine whether this site is still going to be viable before we can eliminate it off the list. So I do, as much as I don't want to spend $40,000, I think it's worth it at this point to be able to start timeline and narrowing down where this is going to go. That's my opinion.
We all caught your opinion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
if we're gonna keep this as a viable site, then I definitely think we should proceed.
Okay.
If the general consensus of everyone is, this is still a good viable site. That's my bigger question.
Gotcha.
It's not, should we do that? It's, are we considering, like I am, anyone else,
I think,
putting it on the back burner as we can always fall back to that if the others don't work.
well, I think when you make a discernment, it's either it is or it isn't, because if it is not, the city needs to proceed with their master development plan. And the TPMPD needs to move
And then
on
they'll pay to have all of that done.
Well, yeah.
based on their level of development,
Yeah.
right? I think for us, what it's ultimately going to come down to answer your question, after the initial geotech and the report that is provided from all the data that's collected, I think we'll be in a better position to start giving a more confident answer on, is this remaining a viable site? I think the cost is really what we're trying to figure out here, and the makeup of the soil to understand that, so we can confidently say, we vetted each of the 4 sites that we're currently interested in, and these 2 aren't working, or these 3 are. And so we can continue to proceed with the next phase of exploration, whatever that requires.
Right.
Yeah. So after the initial report, I think we can all sit back. We'll have an updated site matrix that we can discuss in an executive session on how it impacts each of the sites, and then we can provide an update on viability.
And we will need to do this on all of the sites. That sounded like
There's one
anyone,
that's
we have
already-
to have the tribes and all of
Well,
that.
there's one that's already been done, right?
Not the archaeology
Oh,
piece, but
yeah.
there's the geotech has been done. So, the,
On 1, 2, and 3 also.
no, just, there's been geotech done on only number 4, is that the one? Yeah,
Yeah.
just number 4, and that's, but they haven't done the archaeology. So archaeology would have to be done on all of them to some level. Some obviously are more involved, but there is some degree on it. That only happens when you disturb land.
Well, I mean, I think I might be on the outside of the right. I feel like this site's already showing a lot of money. I just have a really hard time. I just personal wise just see it as going down a path of costing a lot of money out of the gate, which worries me on it. And then, I mean, I'd be happier if we were being able to give like a little more time. I don't like getting pressured, I guess, into the, like, we have to do the geotech and make this decision today because they're going to make time for us by the end of the month. I mean, again, from my personal opinion of how things are going construction wise right now, I think that it's more of a, oh, we have time for you customer service thing than it is actual, like, we don't have any time at all. We have to actually make this space for you. I think that's a lot of people have more time than they want.
Yeah, I felt like.
Well, all
Not
fairness,
saying it is. But
I
I'm
left-
just saying.
I left executive
That's how I
session with the understanding that we need to proceed with exploring all 4 sites and understanding that the goal would be to start narrowing down and presenting viable site options by summer. And if we're there, great. If we're not there, then we need to say we're not there. So with the opportunity to take advantage of geotech sooner rather than later, that was something that I supported with AES.
This is something that I did.
Yeah.
Any more discussion, thoughts? You ready to rock and roll with the vote? Finish it out?
I make a motion that we.
I think we're.
Already have a motion.
we're already-
So that's, unless there's, like I said, any other discussion to be had, then we'll go ahead and take a vote on the motion on the table to approve the monies to go ahead for the geotech proposal for site number 1.
So are we approving a specific amount? Because
Just,
I know that things have
The-
a tendency to then go over budget.
So, yeah, are we approving just the 37,000 that is on the estimated cost, or do we want to go for 40,000?
I would recommend up to our typical practice with other similar size, if not larger, up to $1. And I would recommend up to.
Yeah.
motion.
Made an amended motion, so need to withdraw the first one and then.
I'll withdraw my motion
Withdraw my second.
and. And then I make a motion to approve geotech on site number 1 up to $40,000.
I second.
Any discussion on the new amended proposal here for the vote line?
Point of order, so. I don't know how this works. If they end up doing it and for some reason the bill comes in at 42,000, what does that mean? What do we have to do?
They would need to present us, they would have to let
They
us
would
know.
have to let
ahead of
us know.
time.
Oh, they would?
We would treat it as a change order.
Oh.
And then if we don't approve up to the 2 additional thousand, then we don't proceed with the additional work, and we need to schedule. appropriately.
Take a little discussion on that then. Jerry, you're good with that price tag?
Yes, I'm good with that. That's good.
So all in favor with the new motion on the table to provide monies to give geotech up to $40,000 for site number 1. Say aye.
Who didn't even announce this that?
I'm right on this board. I really am.
So the motion's passed?
Motion passed.
I'm sorry, the motion passed?
Yeah.
Yes, again.
Okay, and then so this time too is really just a continuation. If we went to executive session, so that is off the table.
I need a motion to adjourn.
We still have miscellaneous. Is there any miscellaneous you would like to get out?
No, mine's approved.
Okay, yeah, check out your
Since yes.
AI inspired,
Concepts.
concept pools that are,
They're gorgeous.
yeah, it is kind of like crazy to see like that detail of a thing, with the really weird.
So
AI
Jerry,
flaws.
Brad, just gave us some AI of a pool, Tukwila pool, so that's what we're looking at.
Oh, okay, I can't see it, okay.
Just
It's gonna be
pictures.
so exciting when you can get back to see.
Gives you a
Alright.
reason to come back.
There's always reasons to come back.
Are there any other miscellaneous items that would like to be discussed? I just wanna make sure, because we're recording meeting right now.
Yeah. Well, we still need to finish up the last meeting too, but. Any other miscellaneous? No. Okay, last motion of the evening.
A motion to adjourn.
Just a couple of seconds.
All in favor of adjournment for the special meeting for the BoC 4/22/26? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We can close the meeting.
Jerry can move.
All right, Jerry.